There was a time when driving wasn't about data, it was about feel. Your hands told stories through the wheel. Your foot, your timing, your senses, all worked in harmony. But somewhere between progress and perfection, something got lost. The clutch pedal, once a symbol of control, began disappearing, one model at a time. In its place came something faster, smoother, smarter, and colder: the dual clutch transmission. It shifts quicker than thought itself, but has it made us better drivers, or just less involved ones? Tonight, we're diving into the battle between man and machine. Manual transmission versus dual clutch, the end of driver skill. Before lap times, before algorithms, before even the obsession with numbers, there was the clutch pedal. The manual transmission wasn't just a mechanical tool, it was a ritual, a handshake between man and machine. Every shift required precision, rhythm, and focus. It punished mistakes but rewarded mastery. It didn't care about how much horsepower you had, it cared about how well you used it. From the winding mountain passes of Europe to the long, dusty drag strips of America, the manual gearbox defined what it meant to drive. It wasn't about hitting top speed, it was about connection. You could feel the car breathe through the shifter. Every vibration, every mechanical click told you the car's story. And when you nailed that perfect heel and toe downshift, it felt like the world aligned for just one beautiful second. That's why purists worship it. Because in a manual car, you aren't commanding the machine, you're collaborating with it. You dance with it, you become a part of it. But as technology evolved, the automotive world began to change. Manufacturers no longer sold emotion, they sold performance. They wanted faster lap times, perfect shifts, and zero room for error. And from that obsession with precision came something that would change driving forever. A silent, flawless assassin, the dual clutch transmission. When the first dual clutch transmissions, or DCTs, hit the scene, it felt like magic. Shifts in milliseconds, zero power loss, no lag. It was as if the laws of physics had been rewritten. Porsche introduced the PDK, and motorsport would never be the same again. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Audi, even Volkswagen. Everyone wanted a piece of the technology that could shift faster than any human hand ever could. And the results? Absolutely stunning. Lap times dropped. Acceleration improved. Cars became quicker, cleaner, and more efficient. Every measurable aspect of performance improved. But here's where the illusion begins to crack. Because while DCTs made cars faster, they also made them flawless. And perfection, while impressive, can feel empty. The DCT didn't just change how cars shifted, it changed what it meant to drive. The driver was no longer an artist, they became a technician. Launch control replaced clutch control. The paddles replaced the pedal. The fear of stalling, gone. The satisfaction of nailing a shift, gone. In its place came silence, precision, and a loss of connection. The machine had evolved, but the driver, maybe they stopped evolving with it. And that's where the war began, speed versus soul. Ask any old-school purist a simple question. Would you rather be a second faster around the Nürburgring, or feel every heartbeat of your car as it dances beneath you? For them, driving has always been about emotion, not efficiency. But the industry saw it differently. Automakers discovered that numbers sell. Faster, 0 to 60 times, quicker quarter miles, smoother shifts. These were the stats that filled showrooms and sold cars. The dual clutch gave customers everything they wanted on paper, but stripped away something invisible, yet invaluable. With a manual, the car teaches you patience. It builds respect. You don't just drive, you learn from it. You feel the weight of your mistakes and the pride of your precision. With a DCT, though, anyone can be quick. Just pull a paddle and the computer does the rest. No risk, no rhythm, no real art. It's like watching a perfectly choreographed performance without ever feeling the sweat behind it. The DCT perfected the act of driving, but it also ended the need to get better at it. And for many, that's not progress. That's a quiet kind of loss. Because when machines take over the craft, what happens to the craftsman? The decline didn't happen overnight. It crept in, one model, one generation at a time. In the early 2000s, nearly half of sports cars offered manual gearboxes. Today, barely 1 in 10. Ferrari stopped offering them altogether. Lamborghini's final manual was the Gallardo. Even BMW, a brand that once championed driver involvement, began to shift its focus toward automatic precision. The reason? Simple economics. People said they loved manuals, but they bought automatics. Manufacturers followed the money, and the clutch pedal slowly faded into history. Only a few brave names stood their ground. Porsche, Mazda, Honda, they kept the faith alive for one reason. Because driving joy isn't found in perfection, it's found in participation. But the sad truth is, manuals didn't die because they failed the market. They died because the market failed them. We changed. We started prioritizing comfort, convenience, and instant gratification. We stopped wanting to work for our joy, and the manual became a casualty of that cultural shift. The three-pedal car became a statement piece. Not the norm, but a rebellion. So, is the manual transmission truly on its deathbed? Maybe, but not without a fight. In a world obsessed with automation and self-driving technology, there's a quiet rebellion growing. Car enthusiasts are rediscovering the magic of engagement. The manual has become more than a gearbox. It's become a symbol of identity. Communities, track days, online forums, they're all celebrating the analog experience. Brands are listening too. Toyota reintroduced a manual in the GR Supra after public demand. Porsche offers 3 pedal 911s, not for bragging rights, but for soul. Even BMW still keeps the manual alive in the M2 and M4, a last salute to the purists. And here's the irony. The manual is now more desirable because it's rare. It's no longer a default, it's a choice. A declaration that you drive not to commute, but to connect. Technology will always chase perfection. But perfection isn't what made us fall in love with cars. It was the tension, the timing, the mistakes that made us better drivers, and more human. The DCT may have revolutionized performance, but it can't replicate the intimacy between a driver and their machine. Because as long as there are those who crave control, the manual will never truly die. It will live on, not as the fastest option, but as the truest expression of what driving was always meant to be. So, what do you think? Have we reached the end of driver skill? Or is the manual transmission making a quiet comeback in a world ruled by technology? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. And if you love deep dives into car culture, automotive philosophy, and the raw passion behind the machines we love, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because here, it's not just about speed, it's about soul.